This is a presentation on a new book that is available on Amazon.com called The Revelation the Way It Is. I'm Dale Wong, the author of the book. The book is available in print or ebook formats. They both have advantages. Some people like the feel of having a printed book in their hands and like to take notes. Others like ebooks because it is convenient to display on a handheld device like a Kindle reader, a tablet, or an iPhone. The great thing about these devices is that you can search for words or phrases as part of your study. Can I recommend you buy both? I just did. Buy both. I would like to spend this time to help you get the most from the book. So in today's presentation, I'm going to go over some of the key features of the book. The book is uniquely designed to help you get the maximum understanding and benefit from the book of Revelation. I will explain how it does this. But before we begin, I want to emphasize an important aspect of what the book does and does not do. It's not a classic scholarly interpretation of the book of Revelation. There are plenty of those books out there, and I'm sure a friend or a minister or pastor could introduce you to one that emphasizes teachings of their church or institution. The Revelation the Way It Is takes a very different approach. It's a guide to interpretation, not interpretation itself. Sometimes when people read the Revelation, they are overwhelmed with the imagery and the strangeness of the message. The book provides the reader with a guide on how to approach an interpretation of the book of Revelation. Or putting it another way, it gives you a way to look at it. There's a surprising statement made on the book's back cover. The book treats you, the reader, as if you were a priest. And not just any priest, but a type of priest the Bible calls the order of Melchizedek. Priests in all religions are the ones who are close to their God, and the order of Melchizedek priesthood is no exception. The Bible's book of Leviticus is a priestly book for priests of the Levitical order. The high priest of this order was Aaron, Moses' brother. Think of the book of Revelation as being something like the book of Leviticus, and you are like Aaron and his sons, getting instructions on how to perform your role as a priest. You, the reader, are treated like you're a priest, and it is telling you and training you how to do your job. Now, this may be a bit of a stretch for you if you've never considered yourself to be a priest or a priestly person. But there it is, and that's how it is. So if you want to get the most from the book of Revelation, you'll have to add priest to your list of titles. The book is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 describes things concerning the Revelation's witness, John, and the world he lived in during his lifetime. John is believed to have written this book around 100 AD, about 70 years after the death of Jesus Christ. These things are written about in Revelation chapters 1 to 3. Part 2 are the things that John sees and experiences after he enters into the heavens. This is Revelation chapters 4 through 18. As with many spiritual experiences in Bible prophecies, it's difficult to know exactly when and where these events occur. That's where the commentary helps. It's the view of the revelation that our manifested physical world disguises an invisible spiritual world where the true things on earth originate. Part 3 is the aftermath of the priestly work described in Part 2. This is Revelation chapters 19 through 22. It's a beautiful picture and balances the warnings of Part 1 and the consequences of human history portrayed in Part 2. The book's parts have titles for the chapters they describe. As an example, Part 1 has a description called The Work of the Churches. This section of Part 1 includes Revelation chapters 2 and 3. And an example of a chapter in Part 2, this is the title of the commentary for Revelation chapter 12, The Central Cause. And the title of Revelation chapter 21 is The Great City is Revealed. These titles give a summary of the content in the chapter that it is describing. It will help guide understanding of this content. You can read the book any way you'd like. Some people like to go to the back of a book and read the ending first. It's up to you. But I'm going to give you a recommendation that I got from people who have read the draft of this book's manuscript before it was published. Try taking a chapter and reading just the commentaries first. You can take an English translation of the Revelation and read it while you're reading the commentary. You go through each verse in the chapter and read them in order, one after the other. Now I'd like to give you some guidance on the verse-by-verse commentary in the book. I will take as an example Revelation chapter 15, verse 5. Every chapter begins with a Greek translation of the original Greek text the translation is based on. We'll talk about how to get the most out of this in a few minutes. Then, each verse has comments. This verse has 5 comments separated into paragraphs in the book text. We're going to look at how to study the comments first. Then we'll circle back and look at how to study the Greek translation. This is the text from the first paragraph from our example verse, Revelation chapter 15, verse 5. This is how it appears in the book. You see a combination of English text and some Greek text. Of course, our English words are a translation of these Greek words from the original Greek language text. I recommend you just read the text portion first. Just ignore the Greek words and the reference to the part of the verse given in the brackets. So let's read this together. And with this John sees, and behold, the shrine of the tabernacle of witness was opened in heaven. See, that's not too hard, is it? If you want, you can compare this translation to any standard English Bible translation you like. The reference in the brackets is to the part of the verse we're translating. In this example, I have not displayed the Greek text in the part called Revelation chapter 15, verse 5, Alpha. This is often because there is nothing particular in this part of the text, either out of the ordinary or of relevance to the guidance of interpretation. But the second part, called Revelation chapter 15, verse 5, Beta, does have the Greek text. It's divided into 2 parts, separated by a comma. For most readers, our study of this has gone plenty far enough. But there are some readers out there who can read Greek or perhaps just want to do a more in-depth study of the verse. For those readers, they can check the text in an internet source like Blue Letter Bible. This is an extract from their interlinear translation webpage for Revelation chapter 15. You see how you can match up the Greek text in Blue Letter Bible with the one printed in the book. This will allow a reader to do a more detailed word or phrase study of what has been written in the first paragraph of each verse's commentary. The book is designed for a beginner or an advanced student of Revelation. Here's another verse we'll look at to see how to use another useful aspect of the book, the vocabulary. This is part of the commentary for Revelation chapter 1, verse 2. John witnessed the Logos of Theos, but this is not him. The Logos is in the beginning, and Jesus Christ is in the end. Jesus Christ is the greatest expression of the Logos of Theos. If you're new to the Bible or deeper biblical principles, you may be thinking, what the heck is this Logos he's talking about? The Revelation the way it is has an extensive vocabulary of words used in the book. Many of the words in Greek, and especially Hebrew, don't have direct English translation equivalents. So sometimes in the text, you'll read what we call a phonetic spelling that's a transliteration of the original Greek or Hebrew word. In other words, the way the phonetic spelling is spelled sounds just like the original Hebrew or Greek word it stands in for. In this case, it's the Greek word logos. The vocabulary supplies a brief explanation of what this word means, so you can flip back to the chapter commentary you're reading with an understanding what logos means. Now let's talk about a fascinating and very important part of the book, the excursuses. Many of our readers will not be familiar with biblical concepts, even though they are well understood by many great biblical teachers over the ages. They are assembled in a part of the book called the excursuses. As an example, this is one of 2 commentary paragraphs in the book for Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. A fellow witness is a conscience. See Excursus 3, Consciousness and Measurement. Its measure is Holy Spirit, the consciousness of Yahweh. He sees all, and nothing can escape his gaze. You'll note that the commentary refers to an excursus called Consciousness and Measurement. In the Old and New Testaments, there's a very particular explanation of what we refer to as consciousness. The excursus assembles the best-of-class information by experts on the subject matter from both interpreters of the New and Old Testaments. And they give access to you, the reader, to their teachings on the things the commentary discusses. I've told many people that if you get nothing else from the book, the excursuses all by themselves are worth the purchase price. But of course, the commentaries are the heart of the book, so it's all well worth the money and effort to understand it. Thank you for purchasing The Revelation the Way It Is. This book is a production of CAF Ministries, a nonprofit company dedicated to the dissemination of information about Yahweh, the God of the Hebrew biblical texts. If you wish to get more information, you can reach us on our Facebook page, or you can email us at cafministries@protonmail.com. We can also be reached by regular mail at the address you see on the presentation.